Hey guys, today it's a bit a different kind of video because I want to use also YouTube not just for learning but also as kind of an experience share where I can really tell you out of my practice of running more than 10 years of native the really best practice. It's like less informative, less learning, I would like to say, but a lot of experiences because this is also the way I like to learn. I like to learn from stories, from experiences, and less like someone is showing me something. Both can be pretty practical, I'm totally aware of it, but yeah, I also like this kind of experience share. And today I want to make a little test if you guys like that. And my goal today is to speak about my experience with retargeting in combination with native ads. So let's start. Hi everyone, my name is Marcel Sattler. I'm the founder of nativeadvertising.net. We are a platform about nothing but native ads. We can show you exactly how to start, run and scale native ads. And we are an agency for native ads like Taboola, Outbrain, MJD and way more. And yeah, today, as mentioned already, it's a bit of a different format here with this experience. And before we start into retargeting, I think everyone here who watched this video knows what retargeting is, but important here to understand is that retargeting on native works differently. When we start with native ads for a client, for example, they think, okay, in parallel, when we start and we have out the first campaigns and we start the first campaigns, now it's a good moment to start retargeting ads. But actually it's not, because native ads is the open web. And for retargeting, you need a huge audience that it starts to make sense. Therefore, my recommendation in the very beginning is always do retargeting, but do it not on native, do it on, for example, Meta or Facebook ads. This is what works the best. So the combination, especially if you start from scratch with your native ads, is always native ads for prospecting and for retargeting Meta. Just very simple, $20, $25, $30 per day retargeting on Meta. This is the very best combination. If you have a big audience of 100,000 people or so, you can start also to run native ads, native ad retargeting campaigns. That's possible, but again, you need a very huge audience that you see any impact through the retargeting campaigns, in my opinion. And yeah, this is one option. Another thing which you need to have in mind is that you also need to have a good Google profile. Why? Because automatically people will start to Google your brand. So native ads is very top of the funnel. You have a lot of reach here. And the conclusion here is, or the result of this is also that your brand will gain a lot of organic traffic. So the rule of thumb here is, which we have, is around 10 to 15% of all the conversions. If you have a multi advertising strategy, that means if you have a full funnel strategy with Meta, Google, native ads, TikTok, whatever, then around 10% to 15% of the native advertising conversions, they are not really countable as native ads conversion because they just Google your brand. They maybe made a screenshot, they saw you online, and then they Google you basically. And then it's like an organic Google conversion here. And yeah, this is not trackable for native, unfortunately, but for you, if you're a brand owner, it's kind of an extremely cheap conversion here. Unfortunately for us, if we are an agency or if we hire this agency, we are unable to track this and to trace this. But we are familiar with this, we are aware of this. Around 10 to 15% of the conversions are going straight to the Google conversions, and the Google guys are usually very happy about that. So therefore, keep in mind, if you don't have a very strong organic reach, just start a few brand campaigns with 10 euros is enough, $10 is enough per day to ensure if someone Googles your brand to be on number one, to be the number one, position one. This is key here. And in parallel, again, if you also start to think about retargeting, I can recommend you a few tools here. One tool I really like is AdRoll. So AdRoll is for lazy people like me, and what they do here, I cannot show you now the backend, but basically I can show you a bit of the website, what they do. So basically they do everything. They run display ads, video ads, native ads, and it's very easy to use it for retargeting. It's not the cheapest option. It makes especially sense if you have a longer sales funnel. but I can definitely recommend it. So basically you have one backend here, the actual backend, and they run all these ads for you, as you can see here. So they run Google ads, Meta ads. It's for lazy people, as me, for example. I love it because you can directly create, and they also help you if you have higher budgets. They create banners for you and everything. And yeah, they're pretty well conversion optimized. And they also help you with the optimization. So these guys, they're awesome. They really help you here to set up the things. So therefore, I'm not affiliated or so with them, but it's a great recommendation to use it if you have, and now is the big if here, if you have a longer sales cycle, and if you also have a more expensive product, or if you have a higher value per sale. Especially it makes sense if you have, for example, a lead generation and you sell insurances, whatever, these kind of things. Then ad roll definitely makes sense. If you drop ship anything, like a very cheap-ish product, then I would not recommend it. Then my recommendation is still native ads for prospecting and meta ads for retargeting. So these were the things which work pretty well. If you think about now a lot of other things, like, okay, what's with YouTube? What's with TikTok? I can share you also my experience here. And the conclusion here is it's a great failure. So whenever we start with native and we try to add YouTube or TikTok for retargeting, it was a mess. It was extremely unprofitable. We lost money here. So I can definitely not recommend it. Anyway, the idea of native is a bit different, you know. I know everyone who studies maybe marketing, they know you need 7 touch points, whatever. I don't really like this idea of these 7 touch points. I know it makes sense and there are for sure studies, and no, I don't have any study against this, but I know how native works and I know the impact of a very well written advertorial, which hits all the trigger points of the audience. So that means native is always very top of the funnel. And now, if you have a very good advertorial here, a very well-written advertorial, the main goal of the advertorial is to convince the cold audience or to warm up the audience in order to make a purchase. So we want, at the end of the advertorial, that the reader knows, no, I don't need a product, or yes, I want definitely have it right now. I want to purchase it right now. This is the goal of the advertorial. And this is something, an emotion we want to trigger here. And with a good advertorial, you can convince a very cold audience without 7 touch points to take action right now, to make a purchase immediately. So these kind of people, they never had before an idea, or 20 minutes ago, they didn't even thought maybe that they have this issue. So they clicked on the ad out of curiosity, read the advertorial, got convinced. I mean, before, of course, there are many stages of awareness. They got aware. They start to understand the problem, start to understand they have the problem, get aware of your brand, of your product, and then get aware that they need a product. So these are the different stages of awareness. And this is the goal of the advertorial. And then to purchase, to buy the product. It's that simple. And this is the goal with native. So generally speaking, we try to avoid to do a lot of retargeting because yes, it is sometimes cheap from the results, but overall it makes the ad spend more expensive because it's always cheaper to catch the fish with the first try than trying 5, 6, 7 times. So the key is, and you hear it already maybe, the key is the advertorial. And with a good advertorial, you can also skip all the retargeting. And yes, we do have a lot of campaigns from our clients, also with higher budgets, where retargeting just didn't work out that well, because our prospecting campaigns are so strong that it's enough, and the retargeting is not working because the people who might spend more time on the advertorial, and this is something we track, then they just don't need a product or service. And this is the next thing which I can definitely recommend. Don't retargeting everyone randomly. Retarget really the top-notch people, and you can very easily, with the Google Tag Manager, for example, fire or trigger events. I will tell you an example. You can, for example, trigger an event, pixel from Taboola or Outbrain, which fires after 3 minutes. So we like to do this if a user spends more than 2 minutes or 3 minutes on the advertorial. That means they start to read it. They are generally speaking interested, I would like to say. And these kind of people, they're of course a better quality for us than someone who is just 5 seconds on the landing page on the advertorial and then goes back. So we like to retarget these kind of top-notch people and not all the garbage traffic. And therefore, we like to trigger these kind of events like 2 minutes on the website, on the advertorial, 3 minutes on the advertorial, 5 minutes on the advertorial. Because with this, your retargeting audience, yes, it's smaller, but at the end of the day, it's not about getting the most and the cheapest results. At the end of the day, it's getting the cheapest conversion. And this is key. Also, sometimes when I speak about people, I will speak with people about results. They're like, I have this CPC, this CPM. These numbers are awesome. But at the end of the day is how much you pay for a conversion, how much you pay for a contract, how much profit you make. And that's the key here. So let me summarize this a bit together. My recommendation is always to start with native and try to make it as profitable as possible from the very beginning. Keep in mind, advertorial is key. If you want to start with retargeting, start with meta ads. Meta ads, it's very simple to start a retargeting campaign. Majority of people who start with native ads anyway run meta ads, so it's a great add-on. Then, if you want, also test something like ad roll. Keep in mind you need a higher budget there, and it just makes sense if you have a higher customer lifetime value. Then ad roll is awesome. What else is important here? I would like to say also, keep in mind also what we discussed now at the end of the video, to trigger just the right people or to retarget the right people here. Yeah, just make it from the first catch as profitable as possible. I hope you liked that video. If so, please write me down in the comments. You know, guys, I do these videos here for you. So write me down in the comments below what do you think about this kind of experience here. Do you like it, or do you like more the other kind of videos? Let me know what you think about it. Have a good one. See you next time.